well,
with band and
not the music pro thing. So I shouldn't have like I shouldn't miss like 2 class periods like in a row. But like probably like one. Well, I might miss like 1 period or something. But so it shouldn't be as big of a deal this year.
it doesn't bother me. I'm just telling you, like, it gets stressful.
Yeah.
I know when you miss, it only gets harder.
Uh-huh.
So, see you tomorrow.
See ya.
About the mock exam?
Oh no, I had something else. Like really cool. I was finishing this.
How was it? Harder than you expected?
No, I didn't think it was terribly hard. I just ran out of time. Like it turned out fast. It was hard, but not like harder than I expected.
Where sometimes I wonder. I said sometimes I wonder if we do you a disservice by giving you so much time on tests.
Yeah.
But
I always
I
struggle
so
with
much time. We literally have no time at all.
I struggle with
Well,
time
the
on
last test we
everything.
took in here was fixed multiple choice and 1 FRQ, which would be 27 minutes on each exam.
Yeah, but I struggle with time on everything, all my stuff.
Yeah.
But
So that's why I say it's a lot.
So it wasn't like a real mock exam or all the times and everything?
No, the Saturday one was. That she was saying that she felt pressed for time on the mock exam. And I was just saying if we rushed y'all a little bit more during the school year, maybe she wouldn't feel so rushed at the mock exam.
oh, check it. How do you do it? I don't think you graded it.
No, yeah, you gotta grade it yourself. It would take me
Right now?
hours.
Have you started the test corrections yet? No.
Me turn in.
I had to do this after Q. The 115. That wasn't really hard. I was finishing. Oh, wait, I did it.
It's this one, right?
I got 3 wrong. Yeah. It was kind of hard. It was really hard. Like what? I mean, like, the last 2 were like the hardest. Number 9? Oh, she had semicircles. I got that one wrong. I had squares and I still got it wrong. But my function was like so weird. It looked like this. Anyways. I don't think it is very good.
Some of the parts when this is the first year
Oh, yeah. I didn't have time.
All right, 2 classes ago, I asked you guys to do the last FRQ on this packet at 1:15. So some of you turned that into Google Classroom, but I would like it now if you didn't. So make sure your name is on it and come throw it in the basket before we get started here. Okay, one of the things we're going to look at today is part of the mock exam. So that was obviously best ideal if you were able to come on Saturday and take it that way, because you had all of the timing and all of that kind of stuff. So if you took it, I should have passed that back to you. But keep in mind, you do not get to keep that. That's a secured exam. You cannot take pictures of it. Cannot leave the classroom. I will need that back at the end of the class period. In fact, I'm going to just ask you to put it back in your folder. For those of you that did not get to do the mock exam, I assigned it on Google Classroom so that you could, or Google Classroom, AP Classroom, so that you could see it there. But then, so many people came to do the mock exam, I decided to just go ahead and make a couple more copies of the mock exam for students who couldn't take it, so that you had a hard copy. And same thing, this is the same secured exam, can't leave class, all of that kind of stuff. But in just a minute, I am going to ask you to do one of two things with it. While I get everybody a mock exam, let's go ahead and look at one of the handouts y'all picked up today.
Oh my gosh. This is so big.
So one of your handouts, 120, is the derivatives of inverse trig functions. So all year I have been saying some of these you need to memorize. Some of them show up on the AP exam a lot. Some of them show up rarely. And anytime you needed them on a worksheet, I said, here you go, write them on the board for you. But I need you to memorize them. But looking at them, what do you notice? What do you notice about those 6 derivatives? They all have x squared. Okay. Do you see how there's really just like 3 of them? And then there's like the negative version. You see what I'm saying? So really, if you memorize sine, inverse tangent, inverse secant, and then you remember which one they pair up with. Inverse cotangent's the same as inverse tangent, but it's negative. Inverse cosine's the same as inverse sine, but it's negative. Inverse cosecant's the same as inverse secant, except it's negative. And so all of those negative ones, what do they have in common? Something about the trig function. Right, all of them that start with the C are negative. So for Thursday's class, I'm going to give you a mini quiz over this, and you need to write on here so you know what's going to be expected. Inverse sine and inverse tangent are going to be fill in the blank. Those are the 2 that show up on the AP exam a lot. So I need to know that you can write those from a blank line completely. Inverse sine, inverse tangent, those 2 will be fill in the blank. You have to have those fully memorized. The other 4 I will make matching because they don't show up as often. So you need to at least be able to recognize which one's which. So before we put that aside, any questions about what your mini quiz will look like? Because obviously I'm not trying to trick you. I'm just trying to nudge you into memorizing that so that you're not trying to do that stuff the night before. Okay, we're good with that? Okay, next up, one of 2 things. So if you just got the mock exam because you were not able to come on Saturday, I would like you to find section 1, which was the multiple choice, and it starts off with no calculator. And what I would like you to do is the first 10 questions, and I'm going to set a 20-minute timer because non-calculator multiple choice questions are supposed to be a 2-minute per question average. That's how much time they give you, 2 minutes per question. So again, ideally, you know, you could sit down and just do the whole section, real-timed, all that kind of stuff. But if you have not done any of the mock exam, please start with the first 10 questions in 20 minutes starting now.
This is Joseph.
Yeah.
Really good.
Oh. Okay, if you were here and you took the mock exam, what I would like you to do is pull up the mock exam on AP Classroom, and you can start inputting your answers. Multiple choice. And then I guess if you have time, FRQ as well. At some point you want to put all of it in there. But then that way you will get some feedback on how many of the multiple choice questions you got right. And then once you score your FRQs, you'll know how many points you got from that right. And then probably by Thursday, I'll look up the scoring range so I can say, if you got this many points, you got a 1. If you got this many points, you got a 2. If you got this many points, you got a 3. But this was a real test. This is the newest test that we have that is secured. So. Okay, I'm going to be quiet for the rest of the 20 minutes. So. It's in AP Classroom. I assigned the same mock exam, so just put in your answers. And then it should show you which ones you missed and stuff. Now, please, even though there's not an accuracy grade for asking you to do these 20, and I'm not going to devote enough class time for you guys to chip away at it, I will have you do select questions. I will be looking at, for the people who took the whole mock exam, once their scores are in, plus how you guys will have the first 10 done here, I will ask you to put yours into AP Classroom as well. And some of that is going to guide what type of questions we look at these last couple weeks. If everybody misses question 1, then we need to talk about question 1, because that's one you should be getting. If everybody misses the hardest question, it may not be worth spending a whole class period going over that one, so maybe not. But if everybody gets question 2 right, I'm not going to waste your time reteaching stuff from question 2. So put in the real effort, please.
the SRQ, do we just type down everything we wrote?
You don't have to type it down, but you have to click something to see the scoring.
Okay.
And then you can just, like, you don't have to type it in for me, because I would be the only person to look at it, but you need to find wherever it shows you the score so you can see how many
Okay.
points you're in from. I don't remember where that is, but if you can't find it, I'll look. You can step out in the hall if you need to. about 5 minutes, and then we'll move on to something different. I need the other one too. Don't you have 2 pages?
I'm not finished. Can I come in during advisory?
Well, here, put your name on the top. Yes, you can come in any day during advisory.
Thank you.
Put your name on this one too. I'm gonna put them in your folder back here. So, if advisory, you can grab them right away. Okay, for the first 10 questions, you have 1 minute and 30 seconds left. Okay, so there was 20 minutes, which again, you know, you guys could move on to more. You can certainly spend more time on the first 10, but then you might be rushed on the later 10. It gives you a small taste of how quickly you need to be able to move along. So one thing I would say about this is, well, I don't know, on the time, how does that feel? Does it feel pretty rushed? 10 questions, 20 minutes?
Yeah.
It did feel rushed?
Was this the calculus section?
This is the no calculator. Calculator questions, you get 3 minutes per question instead of 2 minutes per question. But the only advice I can give you guys as far as time. Now, of course, if you have extended time or something, then you would have more time than I gave you. But certain question types, you know, the stuff that is a little bit more to the point, like to me, question 1, like you got to feel pretty solid about that stuff so that you can do it, pick an answer, and move on and not feel like you need to come back to it. Question like number 3 looks a little bit trickier to me. I feel like you could maybe eliminate a choice or 2 with a little bit of work, but you're not going to nail that in 30 seconds. Question 4 is going to take a little bit of time, but question 7 should have taken you, I don't know, 10 seconds. So really the only thing you can do to speed yourself up is to feel a little bit more comfortable with more of the topics so that you're not having to try to think so deeply about how to move forward. So one thing I'd like to do before we move on is, of these first 10, was there one of them that stood out to you as being significantly harder than the others? I know which one I think is the hardest, but just of the first 10, because that's the only ones everyone's tried.
Maybe 9?
Okay, I could see that. Number 6,
6, 4, 2.
not number 10?
No. I thought 10 was cut off. Wait, what's the answer on 10? I got it wrong. Hold on. What is 4? You know the answer? You got that wrong. Yeah. Wait, let's just go for the answers. Oh, you want to know?
Let me-
Yes. You ready?
Oh, you got the answers pulled up?
I do, yeah.
Okay, here, let me
B.
steal them from you. Okay, question 1 should be B.
B.
Okay,
No, I got it wrong there.
question 2,
But because-
we're asking you. You're the one that knows them.
Okay, yeah, question 1 is B.
Question 2,
Question 2 is C.
okay, 2 is C.
Question 3 is D.
Okay,
Question 4 is D. Question 5 is C. Question 6 is D. Question 7 is D. Question 8 is B. Question 9 is B. And question 10 is A.
Let's see how many I got right. So what percentage is a 3?
well, that changes every year.
Well, like on average, like 50.
Yeah, like
it
a
doesn't
dozen.
count.
Did you say 15%?
No, 50.
Oh,
Not those 15, I'd be fine.
yeah, you should be able to guess a couple of these without even reading the questions.
From the last exam, I can tell it was like a 60% to make a.
Yeah, 60% is usually about a 4. I would say 50% is probably a 3. There's actual data on this one, so I just don't have it ready to pull up. But I can tell you this year how many points they assigned. So we know every FRQ is 9 points each. Each multiple choice is 1.2 points each.
1.2?
Mhm.
Okay.
1.2 because then the number of questions they give you totals up to 54 points, which is half of the total points. 54 points for multiple choice, 54 points for FRQ.
So I actually did like really bad.
Okay, it didn't sound like there was one in particular that stood out to you guys. So when I look at this, just the 5-second version of what I think each question is,